Would you rather die than ask for help from someone? Do you feel like you can't open up about your emotions to people, or you struggle to be soft, or you see softness as a weakness, and you feel like you're responsible for everyone else and everyone else's emotions and feelings, but as soon as it comes to you, you have to remain strong and a hard exterior? Well, if that is the case, then this video is perfect for you. I'm going to talk about the reasons that I was hyper independent and the struggles I came across and why and how I'm going to unlearn them, because this is a process. It's not an everyday, every day you think, oh, I'm past it, that's it. Healing isn't linear, and as frustrating as it is, and I tell people healing isn't linear, when you're feeling it, it feels atrocious and it doesn't feel nice, because you think, I'm done, I've learnt that lesson, but it will come back up for you. And it's all about the process. And on this channel, I love to encourage people to be their authentic self, be who you are, just motivate you, to encourage you to become the best version of yourself, and just to be your virtual cheerleader. So if that sounds like your vibe, I would love if you could like and subscribe. So hyper independence is one of those things where it basically shows up in everyday life, where it could be anything from, you could be walking with someone and holding 10 different items in your hand, and they say, do you want any help? And you're like, no, I don't need any help. Or you could simply be at a store. I don't know, this will probably happen to a lot of people. This is probably quite common, but you're at a store and you can see that there's an item that you really want and it's missing, and you'd rather die than go up and ask someone for help and say, have you got this item? Or if there's something high in the air that you, or high on the shelves that you can see, and you go, I really want that item, but I just don't want to ask for help, because you fear rejection. And it's one of those things that you know, like I've mentioned before in previous videos, I felt very responsible for adults' emotions at a very young age. So because that was the case, I always felt like I had to take things on my own and I couldn't rely on people. And there's been occasions where people haven't shown up for me emotionally, and I felt like, okay, well, if that is the case, it's not safe to rely on adults or other people, so I need to take it all on myself. And that's where you learn it, because you learn from a young age you have to rely on yourself and you can't rely on someone else. So what is the point of asking for help in the future, because you fear that rejection? I know the amount of times that someone has, said to me like, oh, I'll help you, and I've just died inside, like, what? And also, when someone helps you, you feel like you owe them something. You think, oh, they've helped me, so I owe them something. So there's been plenty of occasions where someone's done something nice for me and I've gone and bought them a present because I felt like I owe them something. And it isn't the case. Sometimes people, like, you want to help people, right? I'm the type of person that want to help people, so I need to allow that help back. But because I was so used to being the strong one, being the one that kept things together, being over responsible, when it came to my turn of people helping me, I just felt like I owed them something. And to talk about a bit of over responsibility, at a young age, I was put in a few situations that were not acceptable for someone of that age. It was between the age of 10 and 15, I believe, or 10 and 17, something like that. And it was a few occasions that I'll mention. So one of the occasions was, we had some sort of legal process going on, and we lived in Spain, which is really cool. And everyone always asked me, like, do you speak Spanish? And I'm like, sí, señor, habla español. But we were in this occasion where obviously all of the proceedings and everything was going on was in Spanish, and my parent couldn't speak Spanish. So rather than hiring someone to be there to speak the language to them and to actually help them with it, they decided, because maybe at the time I was like, I'll help, because I was like that kid that always wanted to be helped and always wanted to be helpful and useful. At that point, if I did say that, and I can't remember ever saying that, it should have been like, no, you're a child, go run, go play. But rather than that, it was kind of like it was used against me in the sense of, you need to come with us. And I was basically at that process and I had to translate all this stuff. And at a young age, being in that place, like legal stuff going on, it's very overwhelming and it's a lot of pressure. And I remember I had to translate everything, and I can only remember snippets of it going back, but at that time I remember thinking, this is a lot of pressure, this is a lot of responsibility. And that again kicked into me being hyper independent, not relying on people, and feeling like I'm responsible for people's emotions, people's well-being, and that I have to fix things. And the problem is with those sort of situations is, a child should never have been exposed to that. A child should have never been in a situation where they're in a room with all these grown adults and they have to basically say to their parent exactly what's going on. And again, I can't remember what I translated. I can't remember any of it, but I just know I was in that situation and it was a really uncomfortable situation. And other situations, like we'd go to appointments, and at those appointments, again, my parent wouldn't speak Spanish, so I'd go to his appointment and translate everything and be there to kind of be like, this is what they're saying, this is what they're saying, this is what they're saying. And again, at the time I was a young kid, so I probably wanted to help, but now I look back, I think that is really messed up. Like, I should not have been put in that situation. And like, I've done it where I've stayed overnight with my parent before because they were on their own, and I've had to care with them. And again, being between the age of like probably 10 and 15, like that's a lot of pressure to take on. And I think, again, it taught me at a young age, I'm responsible for the adults in my life, I'm responsible for people's emotions, people's well-being. So I carried that into adulthood. And the thing is, I took on all that responsibility to help them, but when it came to myself, I would put myself second and I wouldn't prioritize myself. And every time I prioritized myself, I thought I was being selfish. And self-care to me was just no. Like, I used to look at self-care and think, I'm being really selfish here. Like, I'm putting myself first. This isn't okay. Like, this looks really selfish. And I used to remember feeling really uncomfortable with self-care, really uncomfortable for speaking up, and really uncomfortable for prioritizing my well-being and, you know, vocalizing what that was. And that was because my needs were made to be second, my needs were made to be in the back seat. And I think that's the thing, when you get that from a young age, you are conditioned to that. So you grow up in your adulthood putting yourself second, not speaking up, and letting people take advantage of you. Because again, when you're a nice person, like I was such a nice child, I just wanted to make people happy, I wanted to make people smile, I wanted to make people laugh. I just wanted to do anything to make my parent happy. And the problem was, I was making my parent happy, but I was obviously miserable, and it's really impacted my adulthood. And it's not until my late 20s where I'm like, I need to start getting a hold of this, you know, from when I was younger, you know, pre-20s, all of it hit me. And again, I've said in previous videos what happened and like when all these things happen from, and I'm kind of doing like a segment here, like I'm going through it and just talking about it to the camera, because again, I feel like this really helps, this heals me. But also, if you're a child that's going through this right now, you're not alone, like, and you're gonna get through this. Like, look at me right now, I'm building the life of my dreams, I'm gonna become the person I want to become, and I'm doing this all for myself. So this is a video to prove to you, I know it's hard, I know it's difficult, I know you might be channeling your life in ways that help you suppress it. You might be turning to situations or things that help you suppress these emotions. I'm here to tell you, put it down, girl. Put it down. Sit with me for a second, and I'm going to tell you, everything is going to be okay. Everything is going to work out. I know it's hard right now, and I know it's difficult, and you see no light out, but trust me, you're going to be okay. I'm okay. You're going to be okay. And I think that is the problem when it comes to over responsibility. You just feel the need to look after everyone else and prioritize people's well-being. And when you're put into those situations as a child of that responsibility, you don't really get to live that like childlike lifestyle. And don't get me wrong, there was times where obviously I played and stuff like that, and I got to live like a child, but I think there's a lot of pressure put on me on a young age, and that flipped into becoming an adult and feeling responsible for everything. And when it came to asking for help, that was just a no-no for me. Like, honestly, it's not until recently that I've decided that actually asking for help is not a weakness, it's actually a strength. And asking for help, there's nothing wrong with that. It's not that there's anything wrong with you. And if someone says no, that's the worst thing that can happen, right? I think that's the worst case scenario, someone rejects you, which years ago would have felt like a dagger to the heart, because I would have gone, I'm asking for help right now and you're saying no to me, like, this is hard, right? And it makes you like close in, like, I'm never gonna ask for help again. But just because you're asking for help from someone and they say no, it's nothing personal to you, doesn't mean you should stop asking for help. It's, again, just, it's about surrounding yourself with people that want to help you too. And I think that's something I've been really, really like emphasizing in the last 6 months. I've been trying to surround myself with people that bring me peace, calmness, don't question my boundaries. Like, I'll put a boundary in place and they'll go, fair enough, because I am the type of friend that if you put a boundary in place, I'm going to celebrate it and be like, well done, because I grew up with no boundaries. So for me, I want to be everything opposite to what I had. I want to be healthy boundaries. So if someone says to me no, I'm not going to push them on it, because it's not my responsibility. Like, If you want to tell me, you will. If you don't, then that's fair enough. That's up to you. That's your own personal stuff. So it's about surrounding yourself with people that you feel safe with, secure with, that make you feel heard, that make you feel seen, that will help you and that will understand your struggle areas and try and nurture that and be helpful with that and be calm with that. You know, for me, vulnerability was a hard thing to do. Open up about my emotion was a difficult thing to do. But since I started doing it, it's like a muscle. I got used to doing it and I feel more comfortable. And of course, you get the hangover of feeling like you were too vulnerable, but if you're around the right people and you surround yourself with the right friends, then you can feel that, but you know in your mind logically that actually it's just your old brain kicking into place. And it's about surrounding yourself with people that you don't have to see as a project, that you don't have to fix. I spent so many years being like giving attention to guys that actually had, you know, emotional availability issues that they needed fixing, and that came from obviously issues that I've mentioned in previous videos, but also I feel like it comes from, like, thinking about it now, it comes from the feeling of I have to take control, I have to be in charge, because if I don't, things are going to fall apart. I am responsible, you know, I have a lot of pressure on me from going to those appointments, from being involved in legal proceedings and things like that, you know. And it's a lot for a child to take on, and it has factored into my adult life, which is now I'm trying to unlearn, which is extremely difficult. I was explaining to my housemate, who's also my gal, I was like, it's extremely difficult to break a habit. Like, if you've lived like it for years and years and years, and you're just like trying to change it, it's the most difficult thing in the world, because your brain is wired like that. And sometimes you're not even at the mindset of knowing that that's what you're doing. And then when you catch yourself, every time you do it, you're like, oh my God, actually, I do this so much. And retraining that is not easy. And like I said at the beginning of the video, healing isn't linear, so it takes time. And even myself, I get impatient because I'm like, I thought I healed this already, and then it comes back up and it's painful. And it's just like letting it go through, and each time you'll feel it less and less and less, and you'll think about it less and less and less, and you'll heal it. But it's not just going to happen overnight, unfortunately. I'll be real with you. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to sugarcoat it with you. I'm not going to say, oh, you've got a perfectionist trait, you're going to work on it, and then within 2 weeks it's going to be gone. That's an absolute lie. Like, no, from my experience anyway. I mean, if that happens for you, then great, we celebrate this, guys, but hasn't happened for me. But yeah, I think that's the problem with hyper independence. I grew up with a lot of responsibility. I grew up with a lot on my shoulders. But sadly, not everyone is like that. Sadly, people won't be behind you. And as soon as you change for a better version of yourself, for yourself, people are going to see it as a threat. They're going to see it as a bad thing. They're going to see it as a negative. And not everyone's going to be behind you. And that is okay. You can respectfully go, okay, cool, and ciao, adios, sort of thing, you know? And again, I'm not ever going to like say to people, cut all these like loads of people off, but it's about having a circle of people around you that support you and encourage you to grow and become the best version of yourself, because that is what you deserve. And especially if you're trying to build the life you want and the life you deserve, you're going to want to push yourself towards, you know, opportunities and goals and stuff. And if you have people behind you when you're going towards these big goals and they're saying, you can't do it, like, what the hell, why would you think like that? That's going to bring you down. That's not going to help you go, and that might stop you. I hope it doesn't stop you. I hope it makes you go, hell to the air, that's going to push me further. But you deserve to have people that are behind you that, you know, when you put your boundaries in place, like, again, if I have the tendency that I don't like people that are dismissive and judgy, my friends will be very mindful of that, and they won't, you know, they'll be mindful of that and be understanding of that. And none of them are judgy or anything like that, but if they ever felt like they were, they'd probably be mindful of that moment in time where they're like, I need to be more conscious of this. And that's about, again, being around people that love you. Because if someone said to me, I've struggled with someone who says a certain word, like, I remember I had a friend that hated the word butters, I think, and I love using the word butters. And it's about not obviously like ever dimming your light or changing who you are, but if there's a certain word that really like triggers them to the core, then just around that friend, you just stop saying the word. Like, I would just stop saying the word, because I think if it bothers you that much, then fine, I'll say butters every other moment in time, but I just won't say it then. I think that was the word, but I can't remember. But yeah, so it's about being around those people that nurture your needs, nurture your values, want to support you. Even if they don't get your goals and achievements, they're going to support you anyway. They're not going to bring you down. They're not going to question you. They're not going to say you can't do that. They're going to be like, you can do that. Or even if they don't believe you can do it, they're not going to tell you can't do it. You know, they're going to be there like, oh, this is amazing. How are you going to get there? They're never going to say to you, oh, because the one thing I hate the one thing I hate is when you're saying to someone about a goal, and these are people I won't surround myself with, but you're trying to do a goal, because jumping for your goals, jumping for your dreams is a very scary thing to do. And it's a very brave thing to do. And I applaud you for doing it. But doing that, it's a lot of vulnerability. It's scary. You don't know what's happening. Like, I do this. I have no idea where it's going. I don't know what's coming, but I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep chasing my dreams. One day be in the Formula 1 paddock, walking around with my little cute bag that matches the Ferrari garage. But yeah, like, the one thing I can't stand is when people turn around and say to you, but there's a million people doing that. And it's like, yeah, I'm 1 in a million. Yeah, that's me. So watch out. And the thing is, it's not coming from a place that they don't see you can't do it. It's coming from a place that maybe they've never done it before. Maybe they've never jumped to that side of their life. Like, maybe they've decided, I don't want to ever put myself out there enough. So they haven't got the confidence to do it. And they're just seeing it from a pan point of view rather than going, okay, it's a once in a million opportunity, but you can do it. Or can I help you get there? Or how can I support you? It's about surrounding yourself with supportive people. They're going to help you get there. Like, I know I've got one of my, again, my gal, my housemate, Tarshalina, you know who you are. She literally does this foundation and this makeup. She's got like a whole makeup business. And honestly, I love it. I love her foundation. I love her bronzer. I love it all. It's so good for my skin, which literally will react if you touch it. I wore a pair of sunglasses and I felt a spot coming up and I was like, are you kidding me? So that's how sensitive my skin is. But the powder sits on my face amazingly. It looks great. And yeah, like, that's the thing. Like, her business, I will support it. I bought the products. Again, I'm not going to pay discounted price either. I don't expect my friends to give me discounted price because I want to pay the value of your business. So don't let your friends discount you, of course, unless you want to give a discount. And it's about being around those people that want to promote your product or want to use your product. Or even if they don't get your product, they want to go on your page and like your stuff and reshare your stuff. Even if they don't understand the momentum of it, they see your stuff and reshare it because they think, I believe in this person. Don't understand the product, but I'm going to be here for it. Don't say anything negative about your product. Don't say, like, I don't get it, I don't understand. Just say, like, I love what you're doing here. And anyone that isn't supporting you is draining you. And I don't need a drainer. Like, honestly, it's not in my peripheral. Like, no. It's like, yeah, these things are once in a lifetime opportunity, but I'm going to grab it by the balls. When I turn around and say I'm going to be a billionaire in 5 years, it might not happen, but what happens if it does? Who's going to be laughing then? I'm going to be like, hee 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 hee. Maybe own an F1 team. I mean, I'd probably need... Actually, no, if I had $1 billion, then I could own an F1 team, Mercedes, Ferraris, hit me up. But yeah, and I think this is the thing. It's about being around people that nurture you. And I can say it a million times, but it's just so important who you surround yourself with. It really is, because it makes a difference. So me, for example, now, even a place I go to, if I go to an environment that feels uncomfortable or I don't like it or I don't like the vibe, I won't go back. If I have, friendships or people that I just don't gel with or I don't feel comfortable with, or I feel like I have to second guess myself, guess what? No. And luckily for me, that's not the case anymore. But there has been times. And like I said, it's nothing against those people. Sometimes you're unaligned to those people and you wish them the best. But yeah. And I think as well, like, one of the topics that got brought up, and I think I am very big on talking about things that people won't necessarily talk about because they maybe don't want to or they feel ashamed to. But I think one of the things to bring up, from hyper independence is, because you feel like you have to process all your emotions yourself, you learn that your only person that's going to be there for you is yourself. And when I get people that share with me things, like, I love it, because I think, do you know what, it's so nice you feel comfortable. And like, I've had a couple people mention to me previously, they're talking about like the thought, like intrusive thoughts, and I was just like, that's normal. Like, we all get intrusive thoughts on occasion. I said, as long as you don't act on those intrusive thoughts, then you're absolutely fine. And the good sign is, when that intrusive thought comes in, empathy kicks in, right? And I think people are so ashamed to think of, like, talk about, not as much anymore, but talk about those intrusive thoughts that come up for them, rather than actually just talking to their friends saying, look, I'm having this intrusive thought and it's quite dark. They actually just hold it in and, process it by themselves. And again, I think it's important to speak up and talk and not keep it all to yourself. And that's not necessarily like a big sign of hyper independence, but it's definitely, you know, something that people struggle with and don't talk about. And again, I'm all about on this channel just talking about things, because I think we don't talk about things because we're embarrassed or we're shy or we don't think we should. And I want to normalize that on here. I want to normalize on this channel to talk about those hard, difficult things and make them lighter and make them less of a big deal. Because the thing is, you build it up in your head. Like, you'll build it up in your head and you'll go, oh my god, like, this is built up in my head, and it's, you know, when it gets to it, it's not as bad as you think it is, and you catastrophize. You literally catastrophize. Like, our brain will go to the negative. So it's again about realizing that and going, okay, like, this is what thoughts come up for me right now, this feelings come up for me. And I do this now, like, I go to my gal and I'll go, yeah, I had this morning, this feeling, this, that and the other, and they'll share with me, they'll share that feeling with me and what they're going through, and it just feels so much lighter, and you feel so much less pressure, and you feel so much more carefree. So start sharing with your friends, but also make sure it's friends that can hold you whatever way you need to be held. So if you need someone that's going to be nurturing, kind and calm, make sure you go to that friend. If you feel like you can't handle, again, like me, dismissiveness, coldness, negativity, then I won't ever go to someone like that, because I know what I need from someone. And it's about learning about yourself, you know, it's about learning about yourself, you know, learning from your childhood, what happened, how you can change it. And habits are hard to change, but you can, and just overcoming those barriers and challenges. And I know for sure, if you're watching this video, you absolutely can, because you are a boss ass bitch. You are strong, you are amazing, and you are just capable of so much more than you think. And honestly, I hope you have a lovely rest of your day, an amazing rest of your week, even though it's a Sunday, and a great week ahead. But yeah, ciao for now, Bellas.